So
messing with my camera.
That's all right. So I can hear everyone okay. You can hear me?
Yep.
Yep, absolutely.
Wonderful. So you guys both live in Portland. Is that correct?
We do.
All right. Yeah. So do you know each other then?
Yeah, Thomas and I have hung out a few times.
Yeah, they've done live streams.
Okay, cool.
He's been over to the house. I recently did a, what did we call it, Thomas? Like a COVID drop-off? I did a curbside drop-off.
If anyone had been witnessing that, it was, yeah.
I just fell out of that.
Oh, there we go. Oh, I went
back. Hi, Eve.
Yeah, it was, we were masked up and good to go.
Awesome.
I think Thomas actually had rubber gloves on.
Really? Hi, Eve. Have you guys all met virtually before online?
Well, Thomas and I were kind of chatting a little bit on Instagram, and Galen and I occasionally, but we haven't actually done like a video chat or anything.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad to have you all here. I think we're just waiting for Hillary, but I haven't heard from her, so I assume she'll be on.
I did this morning, so okay. she'll be on at some point. Yeah.
Okay. So, while we're waiting, my scent of the day is Belle Respira from Chanel. I actually got given a sample of the EDT, and I do have to say, in this case, I like the EDP more than the EDT from this one.
Okay.
What are you guys? What are you guys all wearing?
I brought mine along. I'm doing Musgo Real from Klaus Porto.
Galen, that's very interesting because that brand only just became available here in Australia at one of our main online perfumeries. So I was very interested when I saw those.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I actually did some manual labor today, got in the shower, got all ready for this, splashed on, I don't know, 3 or 4 mils. I feel like $1 million. It is an awesome old world eau de cologne, like sandalwood, vetiver. Nice. It's really nice.
Sounds amazing.
Oh, Thomas is going to need a bottle, I think.
If it's eau de cologne, man, I'm a shrill. Sign me up. I can't get enough.
Hillary.
Hi, Hillary.
Hey, Hillary.
How are you?
Good. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you fine.
Cool.
And it's lovely to meet you, Hillary. We've never really spoken before, have we?
No, we haven't. I'm so excited. I usually try to catch your lives whenever they're at times that I'm awake. And yeah.
Well, everyone's here now. So I know Galen and I just spoke about our scent of the day. And Thomas, what are you wearing today?
Well, I'm off work today, so it's been a veritable deluge of perfume today. This morning, Sex in the Sea is just, I don't know, man. It's really just spectacular. But I washed it off because I couldn't take anymore. I actually had to do some stuff. So now I'm wearing one of my, I just can't believe I found this, but it's Ma Liberté from Jean Tattoo. And, you said you liked lavender. I just, my God, man. My favorite perfume house of all time. So
is that one still in production?
Oh, it's long gone.
Okay.
And I don't do the whole vintage eBay obsessing because that's just not me. But literally, I had a subscriber send me an email. I was at work, and he said, "Hey, bro, I think this is still available at this shop. And I literally, at my next break, like holding my iPhone and credit card, and I just had to get it. And what was so peculiar is it was factory sealed, as in like, I mean, I've dated it to 93.
Wow.
And I just, yeah. I just, man, Patchouli. Love it.
I'm going to look that up later on. Eve, hello.
Hi.
What are you wearing today?
So I'm wearing Dusita's Splendiris.
Ooh.
I haven't worn it before, and so I'm just like getting a first impression of it. But it's a very like light and almost airy iris and violet. It's really nice.
I think I've only smelled Fleur de Lolita or something from that house.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I haven't smelled Splendiris yet, but I really want to.
Yeah, I think it's one of their newer ones.
Nice.
Yeah. And actually, Splendiris is the one that put Tuscany on my watch list in terms of wanting to know more about it. I've got a tiny, tiny little sample of it. You know, one of those ones from Lucky Scent that's less than a mil, which is useless. But from what I did smell of it, I really liked it.
And what are you smelling of today, Hillary?
I was wearing Celine's Night Clubbing.
Ah, okay.
Oh,
Yeah, from Celine Paris.
Nice.
Lovely.
I saw that.
Yeah, it's so Hedi Slimane, which I am probably butchering his name. He's the creative director now for Celine, and so they came out with 9 fragrances last year after not having fragrances for like 50 years, and it opens kind of like Italian leather from Mimo, where it's kind of earthy and but it dries down to this really beautiful like creamy vanilla and iris, and it's just, I mean, it's gorgeous. So I'm a little obsessed with it right now. Yeah.
So I'm under the impression that Heidi Slimane, that Dior Homme line came out under his direction. So
yes.
and some of the original Privé collection.
Yeah, and the dry down is kind of reminiscent of DHI, but smoother, if that makes sense. A little bit smoother, like, I don't know. It'd be in the same vein, but it's just so, I mean, it's so nice. Yeah.
We got a hype beast in the making right now.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
And what are you wearing, Cherie?
I'm actually wearing 2 things today. So I've got the Chanel No. 5 hair mist in my hair, just because I got a special deal on that. So I thought I'm going to pick that up, and I wanted to try it. So I'm trying it today. And So Nude by Costume National.
Ah, okay.
I don't think I've ever tried anything from that house.
They're really good, actually. Yeah.
So, I was going to say, so thank you all for joining me on the stream today. This has kind of been a little while in the making, but it's really great to have you all here, and I'm actually kind of excited because I've been watching some of you for a long time, and now I get to talk to you about fragrances, which is, you know, our favorite subject, isn't it?
Yes.
So what the idea for this stream is that we will each talk about our favorite discoveries for this year so far, and we know how great 2020 has been, but at least we found some nice perfumes, I hope, this year. And I haven't put any kind of limits or guidelines on this. Like I've got a couple of samples and a couple of bottles that I'm going to talk about. But I think because Hillary came in last, she can go first and talk about her favorite discoveries.
Okay, so I guess I'll start with it's like my favorite fragrance of all time right now. So obviously this came out a long time ago, but I only really discovered it at the beginning of this year, and I went through probably 3 decants before I finally was like, I'll go ahead and pay the money, and that's Enchanted Forest from Vagabond Prince. I know like a lot of people know it, but it's It's so good. I grew up in the middle of the middle of nowhere, like in the woods all the time. And it literally, this fragrance is like 3-dimensional. Rather than the greenness being right up in your face, you smell the pine needles on the ground at your feet, and you smell like the juicy black currant and the stems and the leaves and everything. And it's just very transportive, and yeah, it's just really nice.
I remember
so much about that one. Oh, sorry, Pep.
No, that's all right. This is going to happen for the whole thing.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I remember smelling that once, and I got a lot of the black currant in it. In fact, I was actually surprised at how juicy that note was, because I was expecting it to be greener than it actually was, but it was lovely.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just one of those fragrances that like it literally smells like you're like crushing your black currant in your hand. I don't know why you'd do that, but if you wanted to make a mess, you could, I guess.
Did you have any other ones that you wanted to?
Are we doing all of them?
I don't know. How do you guys want to do it? Shall we take turns? And we'll do one at a time. Let's do one at a time.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's go clockwise, and I'll go I'll go next. I'm going to talk about a sample that I have only started wearing in the last month or so. And this is a fragrance that's been out since the 80s, but I only tried it for the first time last month, and I'm sure Thomas would be familiar with this one. It's from Hermes. It's Belle Respira, and I tried a sample of the current version, and I absolutely love it. So I can't even imagine what the vintage must smell like. I mean, it's mainly what I get is leather and oak moss. It's kind of classic masculine composition, but it is just so good and so addictive coming off my skin. And I'm sure it's going to turn into a bottle at some stage when I get rid of some. but that really took me by surprise. And I do have a sample of the vintage, which I have not even. I'm almost too scared to smell, but eventually I will compare them. But it's just really, really, really nice.
Too scared because it might smell off, or because
no, I'm too scared because it'll suddenly put the current version in the shade, and and then I'll be hunting for vintage Belle Respira.
It's a trap, definitely.
Yes, yeah.
I guess that means I'm next, doesn't it?
Your turn.
Okay, what will I start with? I've got so many here. Do you know what? I started the year so well, thinking I went into 2020 having not bought anything for a few months, and I made one purchase in January thinking it would just be a one-off purchase, and then it just snowballed from there. So I have like a whole pile of perfumes here. They're not all the ones that I've bought in 2020, but they're obviously ones that I'm enjoying. So, but I might kick off with, because we were talking about Dior Homme earlier, I, a few weeks ago, got to smell this one, which is the Dior Homme EDT from 2007. This is not my bottle. But this is really, I liked this because this one actually blew me away. I have the Dior Homme Parfum, and I like the Intense more because that leather note in the Parfum is just a little bit too much for me. But this one has a leather note in it, but it's much, much softer. And it's just a bit lighter, and I really, really love it. I'm not going to go hunting for it, but if I was to ever by accident stumble across a bottle of this, because it's no longer, whether it's just that it's no longer, I don't know if they still do the Eau de Toilette or the fact that it's a 2007 bottle, but if I ever just happen to find a vintage bottle of it, I will take it, but I'm not going to go searching for it.
And that looks like it's a silver stem, Sherry. That is almost unicorn-like.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it is, which is why I'm being very careful with it, because it's not mine. But anyway.
All right, I guess it's my turn. When 2020 started, I had attempted to make the resolution that I would slow things down. I would shop my collection, and that pretty much went out the window like second week of January. But I will say there was one scent that I bought it a few years ago. I didn't like it. It had been sitting in the closet for, I don't know, 2 years. And I tried it again, and I absolutely love it. And it's a cheapie. It is Tuscany from Aramis.
Ooh.
This is insanely good. I mean, the name is perfect. It's a little bit dusty, a little dry, herbal. There's some heat in here, but for the most part, it's like timeless. It's really good. I mean, I can't believe I didn't love it the first time I tried it. And at least in the States, you can pick up a full bottle of that for like $17 at discounters.
Wow.
It's good stuff. I can't imagine what a vintage bottle of this must smell like. And I know there's a few flankers of it as well, which I am now very interested in.
I think Aramis, even if they're reformulated, to my mind, they seem to do their reformulations pretty well in that they still kind of retain a lot of the what the vintage smelled like. That I actually used to have an old Tuscany Galen years and years and years ago, which I really liked, and I recently smelled just in store one of those ones, and it still smelled pretty close to what I remember.
That is good to know.
Mr.
All right,
Thomas.
Oh boy. Well, it's 2020. And you know, I mean, we're here, we're healthy, and so wow. I finally, after like 3 years of sampling this, and I finally got around to getting a bottle of Zizan from Ormond Jane.
Ooh.
This is I mean, it's nothing groundbreaking, but I was so disillusioned after my sort of deep dive into Bleu de Chanel that I just wanted something simple and something I could just wear that had enough of a nod to the old school. I lately have become candidly quite a little self-conscious about how perfume that I love is now sort of becoming a little old hat, shall we say. And this has got this lovely clary sage juniper snap that makes me feel that one foot is still in the 90s, but yet it's got that weird, peculiar Giza Schoen ISO-y super addiction. So it's fine. I mean, it you know, I frankly, I should have bought a big bottle. And as Galen knows, that's sort of my standard. I'm just a notorious small bottle purchaser. But it's lovely.
I'm with you on that.
And, you know, I mean, this is something I could wear 3 or 4 days a week and not grow bored with. Because I find perfume right now to be, I found over the years when the proverbial doo-doo hits the fan, whether it be culturally or socially or what have you, that perfume for me takes on this added restorative quality. So this works great.
Beautiful.
And then there's a whole bunch of other stuff too, but
we'll get around.
For mine, I went with the Pavillon d'Or from Disita, and I've talked about this before, but the reason why I really like this was because when I was sampling it, it was around the time we went into the shelter in place, and it was very stressful for me. Just like a lot of things were going on. And I remember when I tried the sample, it was one of the most calming fragrances that I've ever tried. And I think the reason why I really like it was because the powdery orris note in this was just very soothing. And as it develops, it turns more into this incensey type of fragrance. And I just found that to be something I needed at that time. And I like wearing this before bed. It really helps me kind of calm down and fall asleep. And I also think it's like a great work appropriate fragrance too. So when I finally start going into work, I could wear this when I'm stressed out at work.
Beautiful.
Nice.
I just need to ask if anyone can explain to me who Anderson BurrEAU is.
Good job. I'm going to
Do you know,
Google
Gail?
it right now.
I have to turn my phone sideways because I can't read the comment.
Oh,
There we go.
He's a basketball player from
okay.
Brazil.
He's not an
okay.
international supermodel.
No.
He probably does that in the off season. I'll take it.
Well, if he's a basketball player, he practically is. Come on.
Yeah.
He's a good looking guy.
All right. I'll take it. It's better than some of the other people I've been compared to.
All right, we're back around to Hillary.
Okay, so my next one is Poets of Berlin from Wilhelm.
Ooh.
This was actually a blind buy because I'm bad, and I blind bought a few from the house because it was hard to get samples, and if I was gonna get them, they would be shipped internationally, and I would end up paying about the price of a bottle anyways. So I figured I might as well have a pretty bottle and hopefully have something to show for it. But this is such an interesting fragrance because it's like vanilla and blueberry and bamboo and iris and vetiver. And so like when you first spray it, it's this weird bamboo vanilla combo. And you're just like, what on earth am I smelling? Because it's kind of watery, which is kind of weird to pair with vanilla. But like as it dries down, it becomes this very bright and cheerful, slightly fruity vanilla that works in warmer weather. It's such an interesting fragrance, and I love how the iris is kind of throughout it, kind of keeping it creamy, and yeah, it's just a really interesting vanilla fragrance. So
I'm not sure that brand. Have you seen that brand in Australia, Sherry?
No, and
No.
I've seen them. I've seen those bottles because they're quite distinctive bottles, and I've been
even
very curious about them. But there's
even the
Mimosa
travel
one
sprays.
too, I think. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go. Sorry.
It's so hard with timing. Yeah, even the travel sprays have the same like crazy glass look on them. So they're all so beautiful. And the three that I bought are all really unique. So
You're going to talk about those other ones though, right?
If you
I am
want
interested. I am interested.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I certainly can. Do you want me to grab them or do you want me to come back on the circles around?
Oh, it's up to you.
So one of the other ones I have is Mango Skin. That one is like, it's kind of like fruity cocktail flirty. So it's like a juicy mango. And I don't know if we're in whichever countries y'all are in, if you have Runts candies. They used to be shaped like little fruits and like they were powdery. It literally tastes like mango juiciness with Runts powder sweetness on top of it. So it's super, super sweet. You can't wear it in the high heat, or at least I can't, just because it's too oversweet. But it's fun for like a just like a day kind of happy fragrance. And then the other one I have is Dear Polly, and it is a tea fragrance, but it opens with this really bright apple, and the tartness from the opening stays throughout most of the life of the fragrance, which is kind of strange for, obviously for like a bright opening. And I don't know, it's just a very uplifting, different take on tea. So yeah,
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Yes, they sound amazing.
Yeah, that one sounds really good.
Yeah, definitely try them.
There are just so many fragrances where you just wish the opening lasted that little bit longer.
Yeah.
It sounds awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so here's this bottle I bought just before we went into lockdown here, so I kind of still associate it with a good time. It's Patchouli Intense by Nikolai.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever well, probably it's very rare where I blind buy a bottle because I actually bought New York Intense and put this in my cart just to make up, I don't know, maybe to get free shipping. I can't even remember now. So I'd never smelled it before. The notes looked good, and I don't think there's ever been a fragrance that's made such an immediate impact to me on the first smelling it. It's pretty much it's in my top 2 or 3 fragrances already in my whole wardrobe, and it won't be long before I get a 100 ml bottle just because of fear of, missing out. But it's, even though it's called Patchouli Intense, I don't know if anybody else here has smelled it. It's not really a patchouli fragrance.
Not at all.
I'm gonna do a Thomas now.
Make a face. Whoa. Oh my god.
On the agenda. It's just I'm sometimes lost for words when I'm smelling it for the first time because I can't even really identify what I'm smelling. But all I can say is I love it. It might be a little bit old-fashioned for some people, for some younger people who smell this, but this is the most powerful fragrance in my whole wardrobe. It is the longest lasting, at least. I don't know if it projects like as, in this with the same power, but guaranteed I will smell this for 24 hours easily. So
Wow.
that's my second one.
That's a beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that house. And I do have a small sample from the Discovery set of that, but I haven't, for some reason, I just haven't, after I smelled New York Intense and Low Mixed, I think, in the summer, I was sort of so focused on those. I haven't even tried all of the samples in the house yet. So I really need to get to it.
Yeah, I have the Low Mixty and Fig Tea, and I love them both so much. Like my Fig Tea bottle I probably have maybe 2 mils left in it, so I've got to get a big boy bottle now.
Yeah, I think Cherie sent me a little sample of Fig Tea, and that was one that I really liked as well as soon as I smelled that.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's really, really nice. They've got so many good ones. Well, in the theme of 2020, this is just a sample that I tried that came my way probably a couple of weeks ago, and it's Tironi by Auto Parisi. Okay. And this just smells like fire and brimstone without the sulfur. So it smells good. And I was really blown away by this one. I put this on sort of not knowing what to expect because I'd smelled Seminalis by the same house, and it was interesting, but it was just not something I would ever wear, and it was very pungent. And so I sort of tried this on with a little bit of trepidation, but this is just absolutely amazing. I love this, and it lasts forever. But yeah, it's just it's very smoky, a little bit earthy. I don't know what the notes are, I've got no idea. But it's amazing. It totally blew me away. I put it on, and then I just couldn't stop smelling my arm. And I messaged the person who sent this to me and just said, what have you done? Because now I'm going to have to buy a bottle of that. But yeah, it's incredible. Love it. But it did kind of, I thought, fit very nicely into the theme of 2020 because we opened the year in Australia with massive bushfires, and then it's just gone downhill from there. So so have you guys tried any of the other Auto Parisi fragrances?
I've never smelled any of them, no.
I only sampled all of them at one, in one go. So I have vague recollections of what some of them smelled like. Some of them seemed to me a little bit unwearable in a bodily fluid kind of way.
Yes. One of those.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think Seminalis might have been one of them because the name reminds me of something. But
how is it
I think it's meant to. Like SEMINALIS.
Gotcha.
Mm.
Yeah. So, there's that.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't do that one, and that's why I was sort of I tried this without, not expecting to really love it, but I was really surprised by this one. So that was my surprise of 2020 so far, I think.
Lovely.
All right. I guess it's to me.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
since every YouTuber seems to be starting a perfume line, I figured I had to pick like one, like where would I start? Like I couldn't blow them all off entirely. And I think talking with Thomas, I had said, I'm going to try Mr. Oz's line first. Ordered the sample pack. Some I liked, some I loved, some weren't really for me, but there was one that I had to buy a bottle of, and it was Voile d'Encens. So if you guys know Mr. Oz, motif olfactif, this is a rose rhubarb incense. And it is absolutely stunning. I mean, one spray will last you like 24 hours. I think it is wonderful. It's very 2020, like at least when it comes to like indie artisanal type scents. There's a lot going on. It seems kind of like the kitchen sink approach in a way. But it really is. It's absolutely lovely. I had messaged him because I saw that the stock was kind of going down, and I asked him to warn me when he was down to like one bottle. And so he was down to one bottle like a week ago. So I finally pulled the trigger and it showed up, and yeah, I should have bought this a long time ago.
What's it called again?
It's called Voile d'Encens.
It sounds incredible. I like the notes.
And Galen, Mr. Oz actually made he's the perfumer, right?
He is. Yeah, he's I guess probably 6 or 7 releases so far. They're all 50 ml bottles. The packaging is actually really nice as well, but I know that, or at least I think that everything is getting a big upgrade with his next kind of wave of releases. I think a lot of the stuff is already sold out, so that's kind of why I went with Aramis first, because I didn't want to be a jerk immediately. But I think if he doesn't ship worldwide, he at least ships to a lot of other places. So, I mean, if you really like, niche and artisanal type scents, this stuff is worth checking out.
Yeah. I have tried a couple of YouTuber fragrances this year, and I won't mention which ones they were, but they were a little bit disappointing, but so I am interested in trying those.
Cool.
All right.
Thomas.
Well, I just adore this from the House of Chanel. And I have found, again, over the years that when there are these moments of sort of existential, I'm going to keep this G-rated for you, Pep. When there are these existential sort of moments of dung that throw us into reading Kafka and watching like, I don't know if any of you are into film, but I love the Japanese director Akira Kurosawa. So
God, he's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
So good.
I actually thank God for him, because he's provided a lot of sort of odd clarity. But I desperately seek, how do I put this in a non-heteronormative fashion? I'm not even going to try. What I want is a flex. And to me, the most interesting release from the House of Chanel in the past say 5 years has been Deauville. It has this basil, mandarin orange, aldehydic clarity that reminds me actually of a Japanese perfume house that I've never spoken about called Dai Sur. That is one of my favorite perfume houses, and it's focused, and there's this seriousness of intent that I find missing in so much, not only consumable media, but perfume right now. Just these one-off, knockoff, schlocky releases that, anyway, I'm on a tangent. As Galen will attest to, I'm infamous for my tangents, but Deauville is just absolutely, to me, sort of this House of Chanel announcing itself with all of its deeply complicated historical positions. Anyway, I adore it. I wish they made this in a gigantic bottle. Not that I need another gigantic bottle, but the horror, kind of goes, oh crap. Anyway, Deauville, if any of you haven't sniffed this and it's summer in your part of the world, like if it's humid down in the Bay Area, this just will absolutely, I mean, we're talking like it just laser scope, perfect, absolutely perfect.
Thomas, I'm used to you waxing philosophical, but like the description that you just gave of that, I mean, I can't even believe that is a big designer release. Like I would have expected that of, like you said, right, dessert, or just something that would just cost a ton of money. But like after that 90-second monologue, like I want to just hang up and go down to Nordstrom's and just buy a bottle. But I don't think they're open.
Yeah, I'm going to digress here a little bit. Galen, I went into the Portland Nordstrom's the other day. There was nobody there. They had 6 bottles of this on the shelf, just languishing there.
Ready for you to buy, Galen.
I'll go down. I'll say Thomas sent me, and they'll be like, Thomas. Okay.
So I'm next.
Yeah.
Okay. So for this next one, I know it's been around since like 1999, but I just smelled it this year. So it's Herba Fresca, and this is just such an uplifting fragrance. And I share this with my husband. I probably like it more on him. But when I smell it and he's wearing it and it's in the air, it really smells so good. And it is a little weird at first, at least on my skin. It does smell like toothpaste because it has that very minty opening. But I definitely get like a lot of lemon and this green tea too. So I just think it's a refreshing scent, and I love smelling it when it's super hot.
Nice.
Was that Herba Fresca? Sorry, I missed the name of it. Yeah,
sorry. Herba Fresca. Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah, that's been line. Yeah, it's been one of those ones for me that I keep gravitating back towards that one in the hotter months to go buy it, and then I get to the Guerlain counter and I end up buying something completely different. So it's one of those ones that keeps eluding me for some reason, but it's not because I don't want it. It's just that I'm easily distracted, I think, is my problem.
I always end up adding, like anytime I buy a fragrance on a discounter, I always end up adding an Aqua Allegoria fragrance because they're always like $20. So if you get like free shipping after like $50 and I'm like close, I'm like, I'll add an Aqua Allegoria. It'll be fine.
I'm curious. Have any of you guys smelled pump? I might be mispronouncing it. Pampaloon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I haven't smelled that one yet.
Lovely.
And you guys love it, like it?
I like it quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything in it? Because I've never smelled it, and I've read great things about it, but I've also been told that there might be, it's a composition that some people might not like either. Is there
I think if you aren't into, I think if you're not into grapefruit, obviously you probably wouldn't like it. But I love how it has this fizziness to it, and it's just like just super uplifting. It's probably one of my favorite grapefruits. And I think I've heard Robes 08 say that too, that it's one of his favorite grapefruit fragrances. So
beautiful.
Yeah. I think there are a lot of people around who don't like grapefruit fragrances or notes, and so I think they're usually the ones who don't like the I'm not going to bother trying.
Pamplemousse.
Thank you. But I love it. I think it's really pretty. I keep trying that one as well. So if I can pick one up for $20, I might just buy the whole lot.
Yeah, my favorite is Limon Verde, and it was $26. So
wow, there you go.
Yeah, because they're still not that cheap here, Sheree. I think we still have to pay, I don't know, $80 for a bottle.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Did you have any more, Hillary?
Oh yeah, my next one was so it's just a decant because I don't have a bottle yet. Unfortunately, this fragrance was discontinued when I fell in love with it, which stinks. But it's Tom Ford's Shanghai Lily. It is a peppery boy. I mean, it has like clove and black pepper and pink pepper and like a spice notes, but then it also has vanilla and florals and like tuberose, rose, jasmine. It is just so beautiful. But on my skin, like, the pepper is the first thing that you smell, and it's a little bit abrasive, especially if you're not into clove, but it quickly turns into this sopping wet like flower and then like with this vanilla backbone. Like it is literally like it is just rained on a lily, I guess. Even though lily is not listed, I'm assuming that's just they somehow made had all these flowers put together to make this beautiful lily fragrance. And it's really nice.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I have a bottle of that, and I find I actually don't get much pepper out of it myself, really? But I can understand now that you say that. I can sort of go, okay, I can understand depending on how it plays up on your skin. But for me, it is very spicy, and I definitely get the clove. But it reminds me, my mother has always worn Youth Dew her whole life, or my whole life. So that's the only perfume I've ever known her to wear. And when I smelled it, even though it doesn't smell like Youth Dew, it smells of that same ilk. And so I don't have a bottle of Youth Dew in my collection because I don't want to smell like my mother, but I do have Shanghai Lily because, it smells, it kind of gives me that nostalgic feeling of, my mum, but it also doesn't smell like my mum. So I can wear it and say that I smell a bit different.
Over the color of the juice, because it's like electric orange.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that weird?
It smells.
Sorry.
Do we have to put our hands up? Just on Scott's question about Coromandel and Richwood, I think I smelled Richwood once, but I don't think they smell similar at all. Scott? Or Thomas, do you have a...
I have both, and I hear this comparison a lot, and to me they're not even in the same.
Yeah.
The new Coromandel EDP, I actually, to me, is 200 ml bottle worthy. That is just the aldehydes in that. In fact, I might just damn the torpedoes and just. I'm around perfume addicts, so you'll just it's glorious. Richwood though is very clearly has got this sort of Firmidich oud Gulf vibe, which I also adore, but to me they're totally they're two different ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, that's what
I have a rant about that, but I'll save it.
I haven't smelled the Richwood, so I couldn't comment.
It's like a beautiful like rose and sandalwood. It's creamy and luxurious.
Yeah, it's one of the few Serjoffs that candidly, I would buy full retail in 100 ml, which on my side of the pond would set me back 640 USD. And I don't, I spending $600 on perfume is just ridiculous. But to me, it's that good. Galen, did I have you sniff Richwood?
You did.
I don't think Galen is as so. I don't know. Did you get all hot and bothered about it like I did?
Not initially, but within 15 minutes of application, I think I had said, "Wow." You gave me a sample, so I'll revisit it. But I remember it getting really good very quick.
Bro, we're reaching the point where I need to like suit up in a biohazard mask and like swoop down and just do a strategic can't drop off.
Already.
See, Eve, I think you should have tagged Thomas in the big squirt.
Yes. You know what? I'm tagging him right now. So
Yeah.
tag to it.
Like, what do
Well, it's a tag video going around where I think each person, because Eve chose vanilla and she basically chose her 10 favorite vanillas and then gave herself a squirt of each of them. By the end of the video, she was.
It was a hot mess. I would not recommend doing that. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be based on a note. You could pick something like all your blue bottles or all your black bottles, or
I did all of my Maison Lancôme bottles.
Yeah, so or like a brand. I think Rosamund Jones did like fairy tale themed scents. So it's up to you what theme you would want to do.
Right. I haven't actually watched any of the Big Squirt videos yet, so I was wondering what that was all about. So
you feel high at the
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you should do an all Auto Parisi one, Shuri.
Oh my God. Well, I only have 2 samples. I have this one and Burger Mask, and no. Even those 2 I wouldn't put on together.
I suggest doing it outdoors.
In nuclear. Yeah.
I might choose a leather theme for mine, Eve, and I'll end up smelling like a gimp. There we go.
Oh, please do it.
Well, I've only got 2 more to talk about, guys. So I'll move on to another blind buy bottle because it was so cheap, and I did buy it based on some good recommendations by people I trusted, which is always a good idea when you're blind buying. But I couldn't be happier with this one. This is an Fritz Classical. Apparently, I knew nothing about Annette Fritz, German designer, I think, does knitwear, but has a couple of perfumes in a perfume line. And this one here is basically, in simplest terms, vetiver and lavender, and that's really the composition, but it just smells so good. Oh, it is one of the best. It is one of the best vetiver notes I've smelled, and less. I think I paid in the 90s for this 100 ml. So, if any of you guys see it or can get a sample of it, I definitely recommend smelling it. It's beautiful.
Nice. And I think we're all now going to be doing the spritzen very dramatically for the next couple of weeks.
I'll put copyright disclaimers in the description and everything.
It sounds amazing. I love vetiver and lavender, so I guess that's one that I might have to try. Definitely. Did you have another one?
All right. Maybe I'll just finish up with mine, and everyone can finish up on the next round. The last one is another sample that I only tried for the first time in the last month. And I don't know, maybe some of you might be aware that my favorite L'Artisan Parfumeur perfume for a long time has been Timbuktu. Mm-hmm. This one has just surpassed it, like first wearing. And in some respects, they're kind of similar. They're by the same perfumer, but this one is Zonka, and it is amazing. Like in the same way Timbuktu is amazing. They definitely share a couple of notes, mainly vetiver and incense, but where Timbuktu is kind of juicier and almost a humid type fragrance, Zonka is like dry and cool and a little bit airy, but it's just absolutely beautiful and lasts all day again on me as well. So, but I had a look and I don't know if it's been discontinued or not, because I'm finding it really hard to find bottles anywhere. So that was it. That's my 4 favorite discoveries this year.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, oh gosh, which ones will I choose? Okay, so one of my absolute favorites discovered this year, and Eve and I have spoken quite a bit about this one, but this is Sandalwood Temple by Sana Jardin. And it's almost really a subtle smoky sandalwood, and it's not overly sweet, but it does have just a little hint of sweetness to make it not too scratchy, but it's very dry smelling, and I just absolutely love it. So Eve, you were talking before about the Decida fragrance that makes you feel calm. Yeah. This is my calming fragrance of the year. It's just so beautiful. I can't get enough of it. I wish they came in bigger bottles, because this is one that I would buy in a bigger bottle. I too, Thomas, am a small bottle purchaser generally, and if I could get a bigger bottle of that one, I would absolutely, in a heartbeat.
That one also helps me fall asleep. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, it's beautiful, really, really beautiful. And the other one, I guess, that I wanted to talk about was Tion Reintal, who's the Brisbane-based perfumer here in Australia. She's a natural perfumer. This Blue Lotus has been getting a bit of airtime lately on social media and YouTube, but this is just absolutely stunning. This does smell a little bit vintage to me, but not oak mossy vintage. It smells just got that powdery floral feel to it, and I can't really pick out any particular notes. It's just a beautiful, deep floral fragrance, but without being too. Another vintage sort of floral fragrance that I really can't stand is the Joy by John Pateau, and I really struggle with that one. But this one, if I was to describe this as a vintage floral, doesn't smell anything like that, and I could totally wear this. It's got a slight soapiness to it too, I think. So it's just absolutely gorgeous. So I'm really glad I picked that one up. I'll leave it there.
She's really blown up on YouTube and Instagram, hasn't she?
She really has, yeah.
I almost started thinking she was sending bottles out to people, but
no.
Apparently everyone's paying for them.
Yes. Yeah, they're really good. There is another one actually of hers that I only have a sample of, and it's called Raven, and it's just like if you can imagine a rose scent that has a blackness about it, that, like a black bird. I don't know how she did it and what's in it, but it smells incredible. And, a rose has to be good for me to like it. So I just can't afford to buy a bottle of it yet because they're not cheap.
The struggle is real.
It certainly is.
My poor wallet.
Cherry, have you smelled Joy like from the early 90s?
No, I had heard so much about it, and by, for all accounts, what's in it, just judging by the note listing, I should have loved it because it's got all my favorite things in it. But the only bottle, I could never smell it anywhere. There was never there was never a tester or anything like that. And I wasn't willing to, because I think I did find a vintage bottle, maybe on Etsy or something at some stage, but it was horrendously expensive. And I thought, I can't risk that much money on a blind buy. So I thought I'll get the more recent. I'll just get my hands on a recent bottle, which that wasn't that cheap. It was a 30 ml bottle, and I think it cost me a lot, probably close to $100. And unfortunately, I really hated it. cannot do it at all. So yeah, but I have heard that people have said the vintage ones are better, but I'm not. It's a slippery slope.
I'll have to somehow smuggle you in. I'll like put it under, like batteries or something. I'll smuggle you of vintage joy, because that's like, that's like, I think my favorite perfume of all time.
Wow.
It's just absolutely. I mean, the story of that house and the absolute fanaticism to not giving a rip about budget. It's shocking, but it is it's a diabolical fragrance. I mean, it really is. It's not. Yeah.
So have you smelled the current version of it then? And
yeah, the current version, or what's left of the current version, is okay, but it's a shadow of its former self. I mean, it's not even when I believe it was Estee Lauder, took them apart, and the money men got in there and, of course, butchered everything, because these asshats think that it's just absolutely ridiculous what they do. The new stuff just isn't even worth a pot to listen to. But boy, if you can find those old bottles, I'm telling you what, I don't know. I would like,
Thomas, was that before Patchouli was before or after they were owned by Procter and Gamble?
Yes, Procter and Gamble. That's it. Thank you, Galen. Galen, he's like the guy who like contains my madness. Procter and Gamble. The minute Procter and Gamble showed up, I tell you what, that house went to three sheets to the wind. Those ridiculous bottles it's just terrible.
Because I've seen vintage bottle, right? The Procter and Gamble bottles are probably 25 years old by now, but I see those every once in a while. But yeah,
and you have to be careful with buying vintage Patchouli, because a lot of these young bucks think that a vintage Patchouli is from the Procter and Gamble era, and it's not.
Okay.
So anyway, Patchouli rant over.
All right. Yeah, I'm definitely done.
No, everyone.
All right. We're gonna keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. I've got to talk about at least one vetiver, and it would be Chris Rusak, 33.
Nice.
Oh.
I'm pointing at you, Thomas. I'm pointing at you. So this guy's from LA, right? Thomas had sent me a text message. Chris Rusak. And this stuff is gorgeous. I think he uses a ton of naturals. He doesn't stray away from synthetics, but this vetiver is some of the very best I have ever smelled. It's smoky, it's clean. I think that there's some white florals in here. There's some civet, some actual real civet in this as well. This guy knows what he's doing. And I did say that, some niche and artisanal perfumes can sometimes seem a little bit clunky. Like, this stuff is as smooth and as refined as it gets. Like, this is niche. Like, this is what niche should be. The funny thing is, like, the bottles are all, like, he writes in Sharpie on the bottom. So, clearly a homegrown operation.
Yeah. That's kind of endearing, though. I like that.
Yep.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I think.
Yeah, I've tried 33, Galen, agree with you. I don't think I've ever smelled a vetiver quite like it. And do you get this nuttiness from it? Almost, I don't want to say peanuts, but it's definitely got this funkiness going on in it as well.
100%. Like, that's actually, I think I've actually used I've used the word peanutty to describe this. Yeah. And his new scent is, it's called AEOJ, I think.
Yeah.
That's like a monster patchouli, and then a very nutty vetiver as well. But yeah, it's that I get that too.
I've been testing AOJ as well, but it's funny because I didn't get patchouli. What I got out of that scent was cement.
Okay.
Like cold cement or like hot cement?
Not in a bad way, but because I think there was a bit of a thing with the release of that scent where he didn't publish note pyramids. He didn't tell anyone what was in it, and basically I bought a sample, and I've avoided having a look at any note pyramid because it's now been published. But I spray it on, and it literally reminds me of building construction sites, and I smell cement, stone, like dust, and in a really intriguing way. And I'm kind of still not. I'm still testing it, and I'm deliberately not looking at notes, but I can't work out why it's what's in it that's making it smell like that. Anyway,
I haven't looked at the notes of. I haven't looked at the notes of that either, but on one of the wearings, my better half had just walked downstairs and had said, "Who smells like a hippie?" Like it's, and I just go, "Oh my God, yes, I smell like a hippie."
That's me.
In a good way. In a good way. Hey, you know, it's Portland. We got lots of patchouli here.
Yeah. I really want to come to Portland.
We're ready for you.
Yeah,
We're truly waiting.
I really want to go anywhere right now.
Yeah. Exactly.
I may have to wait for a vaccine, probably. Did you have any more, Galen?
No, I don't.
Okay. Thomas?
Well, I've got two. The first one is a rediscovery. The first is Open from Roger and Goulet. This is a perfume house that gets absolutely no talk. They're actually older than the House of Guerlain.
Wow.
And they have like basically zero U.S. presence other than gray market sites that are always out of, their fragrance. But this was recommended to me dirt cheap. I think this was $18. And I currently now don't know of a more interesting tobacco fragrance I own. This just has got this dry tobacco backed up with this beautifully executed fougere back that just makes me giggle incessantly. It's ridiculous. It in the high heat, low heat, snow, rain, cold, doesn't matter. This just absolutely is just glorious. Anyone under the age of 30, the initial reaction is going to be, oh my God, wow, bro, this is vintage old school stuff. This is a really complicated perfume, and I love it. So I've been having fun with that. And then it was a glorious day. So I have been searching. I am very picky with how I buy vintage. I'm not one of these, I'm extremely picky. And because I'm paranoid and I've been burned enough. I've been wanting the beast is back, baby. My baby is back. I tell you what, I just couldn't be happier. This bottle is from 2006, and I don't know. I'm over the flippin' moon. Oh my heavens, this was sealed. Again, I had a subscriber send me an email saying, "Hey, dude," and I literally looked at this website. This is from a perfume shop, and I went, "Are you flipping kidding me?" Beep, 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 and currency went there, and I mean, it just was flipping. I tell you what, this little bad boy here, this is from 2006. I have a few decants from Koros before this, which is frankly, if I'm being honest with you all, basically now unwearable. If you were to wear Koros from, say, 1995 to a business meeting, it would not be pretty. I mean, literally, I mean, sort of the olfactory consciousness of people has changed so much, you can't get away with it. But this has got just enough of just that brilliant Koros je ne sais quoi to make me, I mean, for me so far, this is purchase of the year.
Wow.
Even, I'm sorry, I need to apologize to this bottle. I mean, I have relationships with these, so I've got to apologize. I'm sorry, my darling, but you're second fiddle. This is just, I don't know. I'm essentially speechless with the efficiency and the emotional content contained within this. What really excites me too is getting down about another 10 mLs when you start getting some air movement in the bottle. And then it starts opening a little bit. And at that point, I don't know, I might put on my bell bottoms, bust out the disco ball. Galen, it's on, baby.
I may not be home that day.
Well, it's good that you have open relationships with all your bottles, Thomas.
It's true. It's true.
Well, congratulations on the Koros anyway. But
yeah, I mean, dumb luck, really. I mean,
I think I've got a feeling the subscriber who might have told you where that is, but we'll keep it a secret. Eve, did you have any more?
How do I follow that? So I do have one more. It's from Pink Mahogany Fragrances, which is an indie house based in Texas. And I just discovered this house very recently. And I ordered the Discovery set. And I think my favorite from that house right now is Tandem. And it's because the smell of it kind of brought me back to college. Because it smelled just like a mint mojito, and that was my favorite drink in college. And it also has this rice punch type of accord in it, and that rice accord actually smells like this Korean drink that I used to drink a lot in college because my roommate used to buy that drink all the time. And I just thought that mix of that rice drink and then the mint mojito was very interesting. And every time I spray it, it makes my mouth water. It has like this effect on me. I don't know. It's weird, but I really enjoy it. And it's very refreshing for the summer.
Nice. Very cool.
That
And
sounds
that was
amazing.
all of mine.
I still have never had a mojito, just going on record.
Really?
I don't
Yeah.
think I've had
Yeah, come on. Still, I've been teasing you about this for months, and you still haven't had one. You did tell me you were going to have one.
No, I'll wait till we are out of lockdown and we're allowed to.
Okay.
Well, I feel now we're hyping it up, so you might be disappointed when you drink it.
I much prefer to get messy in public rather than in the comfort of my own home. Did you have any more, Hillary?
Yeah, I have two. I have this one, like it got really hyped at the beginning of the year, Zoologist Bee. It's like they always hype whichever one's coming out and then they kind of forget about them and they move on to whichever the next new release is. But this is just so beautiful. It's like such rich honey and like orangey and floral, and it changes so much. Like 3 hours in, all of a sudden the heliotrope just comes out of nowhere and it smells like some sort of cherry crust or cherry crisp or something like that. It's just it's so sweet and unique, and I don't have anything else like it, so I really like that one. And then my other one, which I don't have a bottle of, I ordered the bottle a month ago, but because of COVID shipping. It is still sitting in Germany. Is Sp Musk by Sp Parfums. Oh my gosh, it is so beautiful. I went through a couple decants of it before I finally was like, okay, I'm gonna just give him all of my money. It's this it's just this beautiful hawthorn and patchouli combo. So it's like honeyed florals, and this patchouli is not like, it's just not like any other patchouli. Like Sven does his patchouli so fluffy and clouds. I mean, it's literally like a pillow, and it's, I don't know, this honeyed beautiful pillow, and it's probably the most alluring fragrance I've ever smelled. So
I have the pink patchouli from his line, which I bought last year, I think, and I absolutely love it. It is nothing. I did not expect it to smell the way it smells, but it's just beautiful.
Have you smelled
airy?
Yeah,
I haven't smelled musk. No.
So pink patchouli is probably my second favorite from the line, but the Sp Musk is even warmer and even more like fluffy. I don't know. It's almost like marshmallow fluff. It's so good.
Do you have to? Did you order direct from SP or?
Yes. Yeah, I ordered direct from him, which was kind of hard to figure out how to order, because you could do like just a normal payment online, but it translated everything to English, but it wasn't like Englishy English, if that makes sense. You had to still kind of do some guessing with what the things were on there. So you could do that, or you could do a bank transfer. And at first I thought that meant like PayPal or something. And it didn't. So don't accidentally do that if you try to order it, because that's totally different. But but he's really nice. He actually, he personally messaged me afterwards, and like, anytime you buy a bottle, you get a travel spray as well, and then multiple samples. And so he was like, just going to throw in a whole bunch of extras. So nice guy.
Well, I can't recommend enough buying direct from Nikolai, because every now and then I have to buy direct from a brand, but they have great service, fast shipping, and they throw in heaps of samples, as Shuri can attest to as well.
That's right. I bought a whole suite of stuff from them recently, and I didn't feature them today. I actually had forgotten that I bought those this year. But I think I'm blocking things out of my brain as to what I've actually purchased. And I was saying to somebody yesterday that there are things filtering in through the mail that I must have ordered during COVID, and it's taken so long to get here, and I'd forgotten that I've ordered them. So I'm actually just going, you know how it just did that declutter? I'm pretty sure I've just blown that out of the water, because I'm pretty sure I'm back up to the same number or close to. So
how many bottles do you think you've purchased this year?
I don't even want to say. I don't even want to think about it. Yeah, it's definitely. I think it's more than 10. So it's bad.
Mine's 15 bottles. Yeah. And I've only gotten rid of about 9.
I have to just go through and get rid of more. But anyway.
What about you guys? Do you keep count, or try not to think about it?
I think I only purchased. Oh, sorry, Hillary. Go ahead.
Oh, you're good. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think I only bought 5. Yeah, 5. I try to keep my collection small though.
I think I've purchased about 30.
I might be up there with you, Hillary.
No judgment.
I'm just kind of looking around. I'm like, I hope it's not more than that, but it could be. So,
I just don't want to think about. Well, I do. I will have to at some point, but
this stream has suddenly got.
Mess up, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What?
You're breaking up, Caitlin. You're breaking up, dog. You're breaking up.
I've gotten rid of a few, right? But I don't want to count.
I love how we always preface it with, I've gotten rid of some. I wrote it down.
I'm the king of excuses.
Rid of a damn bottle. Not one. Not one is leaving the scent armory. I've purchased 22 bottles this year.
And that's okay. That's okay.
I mean, it's a pandemic, people.
That's true.
I mean, it's better than buying 22 bottles of single malt scotch, right? And plus, I got masks.
Liver might think so, yeah.
Part of the equation here. Look, with all these masks going on, we have a duty. We have a duty to over apply.
Yeah,
actually,
absolutely.
That's actually one of the great things about wearing masks out in public is I've actually felt kind of emboldened to wear things I normally wouldn't wear to work because I go, nobody can smell me. We're all wearing masks, you know?
Bingo.
Yeah.
We're going to get you on the Montal train here soon enough.
All of it. Sorry, go, Sheree.
I was just going to say, it is funny. I was saying to somebody yesterday that I've been complaining about how, because I know that I've bought a lot this year and far more than I had anticipated. And I keep saying to myself, I don't need bottles because I buy the bottle and then suddenly I'm just onto the next thing and I kind of ignore the bottle that I've just bought. And it's partly because I buy the bottles because I want to be able to spray quite liberally and have it last all day. But in COVID and in the fact that I'm working from home all the time, I kind of don't want my fragrance to last all day because I want to be able to change them up throughout the day. So I'm not wearing the bottles because I don't want to spray so liberally. And it's just, I'm sure it'll change when I go back to work. But it's just like, I think maybe I just need to buy samples for now. But then when you buy samples, you may as well, after a while, you may as well buy the bottle anyway because it's quite expensive to get it shipped.
This live stream suddenly took on an air of a group therapy session.
So close to you all now.
Yeah. So, you're all right. I'm all right. We're all right.
Okay. All right.
Guys, look, I'm really sorry to do this because I did set myself a time restraint with the stream because I do have other things I need to do. But can I just say, given that we don't really have any questions from anyone, I just want to thank you all for joining today, this morning, this afternoon, this evening. It's been, obviously, the time's gone really, really quickly for me, but it's been great fun and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. But thank you so much.
Thank you, Pat, for having us all here.
Thanks for coordinating it.
You're always a wonderful host.
Thank you. All right. Well, and thank you to everyone, all 45 people who are currently watching, everyone who commented and said hello, and everyone that didn't. Thank you for watching. We'll do this another time. I don't know when, but I'm happy to join anyone else who wants to do a stream. Oh, Thomas, Vladimir wants you to take your shirt off. Are you?
I'm not going to break the screen of this computer, my friend. I do not want to see. No. This old. No. Oh boy. Australia would never forgive me.
Sheree, Galen, Thomas, Eve, and Hillary, thank you. See you guys very soon. Talk to you soon. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks.
See you guys.